and let us all do we can to build a better future.
The Democrats decided to drop the ball over the weekend, and I think it's very important that we see how this all started, where it all began.
They dropped this ball, and it fell into a pillar, and that pillar fell into some nice porcelain china, and then one of the china plates didn't break, then rolled into another pillar, and then broke a lot of vases or something of that nature.
Right.
This was a real skillful failure.
And so with this failure, let's play this first video. It's the AOC, it's Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Cori Bush explaining what happened and how Nancy Pelosi decided to adjourn Congress so they can all go home and be on a 6-week vacation in their wonderful little mansions. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's play this first video.
And go out. We're going to let 7 million people go ahead and go out and hit the streets too. You all can go out, but then what? Then what happens? Because I thought those were the same people you were supposed to take care of.
So here's one thing that we could all do right now, because here's what's happened. Because when the House tried to adjourn, they moved to adjourn, Representative Bush and I, Cori and I, we started running to the House floor. Because, by the way, they didn't tell folks that this is what they were trying to do. They didn't tell folks that they were going to adjourn suddenly. So they tried to slip Congress adjourning without even members knowing. And so we started running, literally running full clip to the House floor to try to demand a roll call vote on adjourning Congress. To say, all right, if you want to leave, you actually need to put your name in against whether you wanted to leave or not wanted.
Does it sound like she's forcing a vote to take place so that people can be accountable for their actions? Huh. That sounds violent.
Yeah, it does.
All right, let's keep playing it.
If you want to leave, you actually need to put your name in against whether you wanted to leave or not wanted to stay. And so what they did was that there was a rush to adjourn before Cori and I could call the roll call vote. So what we need is for Congress to
Okay, could I pause it again? I'm going to do a translation again. We were not on time for this really important vote that we really should have been on time for, because it's going to affect, 5 to 12% of the American people, and we should have put together better intelligence. We should have had a sentry posted when it seemed like a lot of Congress people are entering in the big room or something, but they tried. I'm not sure. Go to those Americans who are about to be evicted and ask them if trying matters.
Let's play the rest of it.
And the CDC eviction moratorium needs to be extended because housing is a primary social indicator of health. If you are not housed, you are far more likely to be sick in a very large range of diseases. But beyond that, what we know is that the homes that are most at risk for being evicted are also in communities that are least vaccinated.
Yes.
So you push all of these people out of their homes and they're unvaccinated. They're susceptible to Delta, which is more contagious and more severe than even the first strain of COVID. And what we're signing ourselves up for is just a huge spread of disease. Housing is a lot like long-term unemployment. Once you are unhoused, it is very difficult to get housed again. Cori has spoken to this so eloquently so many times. So we need to get back here, and we need everyday people to stand up and create the political pressure, because that's what folks here respond to. They respond to whether they're going to keep their job or not. And that, frankly, is a measure of political pressure. And so Republican, Democrat, we need to be here in order to make sure that people do their job.
Okay, so before we get started on this, I want to be very clear. I was clearing this on Joe Firestone's show as well. The sleep out in front of the Capitol building, on the one hand, look, I get it. Okay, that's great.
It's at least something.
It's something, but on the other hand, too, it's performative art. Because to Daniel's point, you point this out, and I want to put a big picture. There were 15 congressmen and women on the Force to Vote petition. Why wasn't one of the members of the squad or those people who were on the Force to Vote petition inside the chambers raising a ruckus? Somebody should have been there. There were no sentries at the post. There was no one there to scream. They ran. But the thing is, they had months to stop this. I really didn't think. We knew that they were going to kick the can down the road or maybe screw up, but I didn't think they'd screw up this bad. 15 million Americans, at the bare minimum, are at risk of being evicted from their homes. And we have every right to call out all these lawmakers. Most notably, the Democratic lawmakers are progressive ones. They screwed up. And this is on them and the Democratic administration known as the Biden administration. This is on them. We all know who the GOP are. We know the Republicans, what they're going to do. And I don't think that the Republican Senate or the conservative Democrats in the Senate are going to do a damn thing either. They don't care about us. They dropped the ball. Daniel, real quick.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like, this is all really pathetic. Like, can you imagine, like, in any other circumstance, like, putting a video and acting like you're doing strong things? Like, imagine, like, I don't know. Okay, here's an example that literally just happened to me today. I got a letter in the mail saying I have to attend for a something jury duty thing. Do you think it would matter if they called my name in jury duty and I was running into the court and sorry I was late? No, it wouldn't matter. I would probably get in a lot of trouble for that. It's the same thing. They're not taking responsibility for their inaction. I'll say it even this way. Let me see those videos of you running.
Yeah.
Because
I need
at
to
this
see
point, it's like, okay, you say you're running. Again, it doesn't matter. It's like, oh, man, I would have loved to save the guy's life as just have an ambulance driver, anybody ambulance driver. But, we were already in line at the McDonald's, and we really wanted to get a burger. So, he passed away and we weren't there. We tried. We were driving really, really fast to try and help him, of course, after we got our order. AOC, I'm not sure it matters to me that you tried at this point. Lot of millions of people are going to suffer. On the low end, many, 15 million, you said?
15 million at the bare
the low
minimum.
end. I'm still working at the 40 million end. Either way, millions of people are going to suffer. And now, when these fail, and all this happens, how do we know who to blame? How do we know who to blame on the vote? Well, we don't, because AOC wasn't there to do this basic of job. Also, just to point out again, the great irony that AOC was rushing and just missed it by the last minute to force the vote. I just think that's, especially with what happened with Cori,
I'm
that's
so
amazing.
good. I'm
amazing.
so glad that you brought up forced to vote, because let's pull up this tweet of Max Blumenthal, because he did talk to Representative Cori Bush about forced to vote, and it is connected to this. And look, if this offends people's feelings about their favorite lawmakers, all of our lawmakers failed us. So let's play this video. I'd rather play this video right now. You can check out all the links to the show notes, the description box below. But here is Max Blumenthal confronting Representative Cori Bush about forced to vote and how it's connected to this housing crisis.
We saw this video. He's not even encouraging, he's just asking her questions while she's there, and when she thinks that he is there backing her, sleeping on the steps, which again is interesting, because if she had just gotten there on time, this would have not been an issue. She's really like a self-penance or maybe a PR penance. I'm not sure what it is, but
performative art. But let's play this video.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
And I heard, like last night, there was a lot less people. It's great to see so many more people. But I heard there was an intense debate about the role of the squad and why the squad didn't leverage its vote for the speaker for Medicare for all vote, and why the squad, with the margin so narrow in Congress, why the squad didn't
because
leverage its vote on the stimulus to get a $15 minimum wage.
No. So first, one thing that was said last night, which is something that's very true, and I wish we would have talked about that this was where your conversation was going, because we're talking about the rally for tonight. And I really would love to keep the conversation on what's happening.
I feel like it's all related to healthcare and the...
It absolutely is.
Okay, pause it real quick, because she's going to make this thing. I just want to make the point. In the previous video we just saw, both of them are talking about healthcare risks related to the eviction, which will matter in this video.
It absolutely is, but this is the thing. What was said last night is that this bill, Medicare for All, is there's no person on the squad whose bill that is. That is Bernie Sanders' bill in the Senate.
Just to translate, Cori Bush is making the point that if you have not put the bill up yourself, you have no ability to affect it at all. That's what she just said.
It is Pramila Jayapal's bill in the House. It is not our bill. We cannot make that bill come to the floor. There is nothing that we can do legally to get the bill to the floor. We have
But Pelosi could have brought the bill to the floor.
We're good here, thank you.
Okay, here comes the handler.
Sorry, man. We're fine at this.
Why can't
Hey, just before we keep going, I just want to give a shout out to the, the freedom and the democracy of asking a question about healthcare to someone who says that they're for it, and have a handler cut the interview off. By the way, I don't even notice Cori calling him. I think this guy just was like, nope, I'm going to decide, no, you can't talk to this elected representative who is out here when you trying to talk when you were, asking questions about that the eviction thing that she wanted to talk about, blah, blah, blah.
What? Well,
I'm sorry, Max. We're fine at this.
Why can't she answer the question?
We're here to talk about the eviction.
But I feel like it's all about healthcare.
Thank you.
No, really appreciate that.
We appreciate your time.
We're here for a reason. It's about the moratorium.
Well, why is that? I can't ask about Medicare for all.
The Congresswoman has slept 1 hour. She's done a lot of labor.
By the way,
I'm trying to get people out here too.
I respect.
Oh my God, she slept 1 hour. I feel so sorry for her. She's getting paid that entire time, and she's sleeping out there because she couldn't get to the. Oh, my heart bleeds as a counter response to him asking a question that, again, in the previous video we just saw, they actually made the point that this is healthcare related and the same thing. But now that it's not good for her PR because it's something she failed at, got to get you to stop if you kept saying things that were positive to her. So it looks like she has a gatekeeper, PR gatekeeper right in front of her right now. Let's keep playing.
She's done a lot of labor.
I'm trying to get people out here too.
I respect your work.
I'm trying to do the same thing you all are doing.
Thank you for being here.
But why can't she could just answer it and then I go away? I'm not trying to attack her or anything. I'm not trying to smear her.
We're happy to give you a contact and you can reach out.
But why is that issue, the Medicare for all vote, so she was wrapping up her?
I'm not having this conversation.
But she was wrapping up her. I know she was wrapping up her answer. Then I was going to say thank you. Everybody come out.
I appreciate.
But why didn't you let her just wrap up her answer?
I really appreciate you. We're happy to give you a contact.
No, you don't. You don't appreciate nobody.
All right.
Bye-bye. All right.
Then you just turned.
They wouldn't even let her finish her answer. I mean, I thought it was a perfectly fine explanation, and I was just going to be like, okay, thank you for answering.
Well, shout out to Max Blumenthal, who's doing a lot of good work, especially our entire team at the Gray Zone. But while we're here,
I just feel somewhere. I can just feel in my bones. There's just some other news agency that's about to go Russia.
Oh yeah, like the middle-aged McCarthyites. Yes, mind you, remember there's a video that Primo Radical just posted on his Twitter
put
account.
This comment. He should have so asked them if they had health care.
That was brilliant. Do you guys have health care? Because I know our Congress representatives, our congressional representatives have it. Let's go ahead and pull up this wonderful tweet from Jimmy Dore, who I think, look, he's going to punch. And he's going to punch hard because these politicians, they don't deserve our respect. Here's the thing. Don't donate to them. Don't follow them on social media because you know what? They don't deserve right now all the praise. They let this happen. They dropped the ball. They screwed up. And I'm not going to defend somebody if they screw up. Let's say if Daniel screwed up with anything like in regards to the show, or if I screwed up, it's on me. It's on him. If we screw up and we can't do the show or run the studio properly, it is on us. So when our elected officials screw up on the constituents, especially not expanding the eviction moratorium, that's on them. That's on them, and we have every right to yell at them. They don't deserve praise. Protest in front of their homes. Let's pull up this tweet from Jimmy Dore. Stop pretending you don't know how this works. You don't implore with a letter. You make demands and hold their agenda hostage until you get your constituents their human rights. And this has to deal with, again, Representative Pramila Jayapal, who basically said, extending the eviction moratorium is a matter of life and death for the communities we represent. Representative Pelesi, Representative Cori, Representative Jim Gomez, Representative AOC, Representative Ilhan Omar, Representative Rashida, Representative Bowman, and I are imploring the Biden administration, that screwed up, the Biden administration, to act with this urgency, this moment of demands.
Wait, are they trying to reach out to Biden on Twitter? He doesn't even know what Twitter is.
He doesn't know what it is, Jack. And yet, remember, it was AOC who said that the Biden administration was exceeding expectations. But speaking of AOC,
I mean, it's about like reaching out to Biden on Twitter is about as useful as reaching out to me on Twitter.
Right. So the thing is, speaking of AOC, I want to give a real okay. So first, shout out to Jimmy Dore, who again keeps on punching at these politicians, both Democrat and Republican. Yes, Jimmy Dore punches at the Democrats and Republicans.
He punches at whoever screws us.
Yeah, and they all screwed up. Shout out to Max Blumenthal, who did a fantastic job interviewing Cori Bush about force of vote.
I would have loved if he had asked, like, I felt like there was a final question, and maybe it's just my style versus his, but like. Yeah. That was wonderful. It's a really sad video. I mean,
it is. It is because force to vote is connected to all of this because we're the richest country in the world. We don't have Medicare for all. And as I said on Joe Firestone's show, look, on the one hand, I agree that this. I'm glad that Cori Bush is doing this, but on the other hand, too, I got to call it what it is. it is performative art. So shout out to Franc Analysis, who's been on our show. We've been on his show in the past as well, where basically he calls out AOC, who is also there. Let's play this video. I think it's very important. Like, look, I don't care how these politicians make you feel. They screwed up. Let's play this video. There's Representative AOC right there.
Maga forgot that. Maga waved the flag thinking it's all about the ego. But it's about our quality justice, equality, human rights. I'm so proud to protect. America means protecting the meek and the weak from being exploited, enslaved, victimized, bullied, or conquered. It's a joy to do so.
AOC, is it okay if I get like a question or two? Question two, what's the next steps? What are you guys going to do to pressure your colleagues? How are you going to pressure your colleagues?
They're walking away.
Why are you guys doing this last minute? Why weren't you guys doing this for months?
True.
That's it. So you just show up for a photo op and that's it. You're not actually going to fight in Congress. No, what is she going to do? You want to talk about it here? We can discuss right here very civilly.
And we need to yell at these politicians. He's right.
I'm
Franc
completely
Analysis is
independent.
right. Okay, so Franc Analysis was right to yell at these politicians, as is Jimmy Dore, as is everyone. Everyone. Look, the Democrats dropped the ball on this, and 15 million Americans are at risk of being evicted. Actually, it's happening now as we speak. It's happening now. A lot of landlords, large and small,
And by the way, if you've seen Laney's really good coverage in the past year on this, you have to remember that these larger apartments that are owned and have lawyers and stuff, they already have binders on every single person they want to evict, and they're just going to push all of them in at once.
Yeah. So as a final note for this, we are on our own. Just like in 2020 where our politicians abandoned us. Under a Democratic administration in 2021, with the Democrats holding the majority in the House, they failed. They couldn't get their act together at the last minute. This is pathetic. This is going to be a very interesting midterm election cycle. But I will say this. We need to do a general strike. We must protest in front of these lawmakers' homes. All of them, Democrat and Republican, because this is going to be a nationwide crisis, and we're still dealing with COVID-19. They have benefits, our politicians. They have gold-plated health care. And any cul-de-sac progressive of a larger network that's carrying water for these lawmakers, be they Democrat or the progressive Democrats or Republican, deserve to be called out too. This homelessness crisis will affect us all, and a lot of good people. I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican, whether from a red state or a blue state. A lot of good people are going to get hurt. And it's not right. The Biden administration failed, and the House of Representatives failed. That's a fact. And if you don't like it, too bad. It's going to be out there on the streets. We're all going to see it. Families out there on the streets. It's wrong. So shout out to Franc Analysis, shout out to Jimmy Dore, shout out to Max Blumenthal, shout out to all the team at the Gray Zone, and shout out to everyone else on social media that's holding these politicians' feet to the fire, because we got to do a general strike and we got to fight for a better future.
Also, apparently, Frank's in the chat with us.
Shout out to Franc Analysis. Great job, buddy. All right.